G'day everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bushcraft and Camping Adventures. My name's Craig, and today we're here with episode 4 of the Clay Chronicles. You've found the clay, you've processed the clay, and now we're going to mold it. We're going to make some vessels, which will leave us only one last step, which will be the firing. So you're going to need a few things. You might need a little bit of water, you're going to need your clay that you've processed, and you might need a couple of vessels as well. So I'm going to show you the process that I go through when I mold clay. We'll get our hands dirty and we'll mold some clay. Now I like to have a couple of bowls. One bowl for actually getting a slurry together, and the other bowl just to rinse your fingers should you need to. Then of course we have our clay. You can see here that we've wrapped it up in cling wrap to make sure that it doesn't harden up too much. But today we're going to be pulling that out, we're going to be re-moistening it, and then once we've re-moistened it, we're going to be actually working it and turning it into a couple of bowls. So the plan today is we're going to use two different methods to make these bowls. The first style, it's nothing revolutionary. It's what's called a pinch pot. It's basically when you get the clay and you just squeeze it out. You do nothing fancy with it. I'll show you. The second style is where you're making the coils and you're building up the pot. We'll see it as we do it. So let's get to getting this clay to a workable state. Okay, so still workable. We want to cut a slice of this off. So I'm going to use one of my old knives here just to cut off a workable section of clay there. Lovely. So you can see it's cracking, which means it just needs a little bit of moisture added to it. And just slowly work water in. Now we've still got to temper this. Same with this piece. 1, 2. So that'll be about your 15-20%. Okay, so now we've got the clay to a state that we're happy with, and now we start using the pinch pot method. So this is basically, we're just going to form the shape of a bowl by just squeezing and shaping the clay. There's going to be no coils, there's going to be no bits and pieces. It's the quick method. So let's show you how we do that. We start by thinking about our base here. I'll distribute the clay around evenly. Come on up you get. So the basis of this is you just keep pinching and repairing and smoothing. Just keep going. Personally, I don't like this method. I'm not a fan of it. It's hard to get consistency with your product. I don't like the I'm just not a fan of this method in general. But in the wild, when you're just trying to create a vessel for functionality, you're not going for much more than you need some kind of cup or bowl or similar. This is the quick slap up version, as opposed to the second technique, which I will show you after we complete our pinch pot. So I just like to go around and smooth everything out like you see here. The clay's at a very good level at the moment where I can do this without having to add any extra water. If the clay dries out too much, just add some extra water onto your fingers and you can continue doing this. So I'm just going to keep going around repeating this process, as you can see here. Now this technique here, I'm supporting the walls as I go around with my finger, and that allows you to hold the shape but to reinforce the strength of the pinch pot. Otherwise you're pushing against nothing and you'll be ruining the structural integrity. Okay, so she's coming along. We've got to now address these cracks. You're just using a very light but firm touch. You don't want to push too hard, but it needs to be hard enough to actually plaster over these cracks. Just keep going around doing the whole thing. Just keep going. Time will float away. You can sink hours into a good primitive clay session before you even know what's what. That's why so many people... Okay, so this becomes a passion. Pinch pot completed. It's only taken about 15-20 minutes maximum. And now you got to let this dry out. Just let it dry out. Put it on a shelf outside somewhere and just let it dry out. You'll know it's dry because it'll be hard, dry clay. Only once it's dried is it ready for firing, but we'll address that next episode. For now, pinch pot completed. Bushcraft and camping adventures. Okay, now it's time to start the second pot. I'm not going to show you the preparation of the clay this time, but know that I'm going to be kneading it, wetting it, tempering it, and we're basically going to bring that up to the same level of consistency as the previous clay we just worked was. Here is the finished product here. Nice and wet, nice and workable. Okay, so we start out. We've got to find the basic. We want to get the size of our bowl here. So this is going to be the base. So what we like to do, we roll out and flatten. Just going to make a medium-sized pot. Nothing huge. Get off there. Just want to work out that base shape. Put that to the side. Now, we want to roll some coils. Obviously these are going to form the wall of your bowl. Alright, now we want to make a slurry. Slurry is just basically really watery clay. Okay, we want this to use as a paste, as a glue, as a spack filler, as a cement between layers and where needed if cracked or similar. So with the slurried fingers. Okay, now what you want to do, just quickly go around and score the edge here, because this is where we're going to be putting our first coil, and we need something for it to bite into. Now some people skip this step. I found personally that when I skip it, I can run into problems, and when I do it, my pots hold their shape and they don't explode. Now I know there's a lot of factors built into that, but just me personally, I've definitely turned into the school of thought that prefers this. Still too dry, but we're just going to go for it. Okay, so get the slurry fingers now, because we know it's a little dry. Go around. First, we're just treating the coil itself. Okay, now apply some downward pressure. You want to get the slurry and you want to push the edges down like that. Okay, we're pushing down all the edges as we go around. The inside as well. So you're basically dragging down from the top a little bit of clay and pushing it in as you go. Okay. Now literally, we're just repeating as we go now. It's always better to make it a little bit longer and break off an end than the other way around. Okay, so here are our finished products. Our pinch pot, which has already started drying, and our coil pot. Now, as I say, I'm going to leave these out for quite a while. These will be the pieces that are fire. I may make something else. We're going to be adding that one into the fire when we get there as well. I made that one quite a while ago. So we'll have 3 pieces to fire. So that's episode 4 finished. We've created 2 products here. We can create plenty more. There's still lots of clay left. So we're going to leave you with that for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed watching the creative process here. As I say, it's very much a meditative thing that you get into. So you just enjoy it, take your time, get creative. You can create all sorts of goodness. So until the next episode where we fire these and cross our fingers that everything comes out in one piece. We're not going to give ourselves many shots to stuff up with, so let's hope that goes okay. So until next time, thanks for watching. See you later.